Let me paint you a picture. It's 8:30 at night. You've survived another day, work, dinner, kids, dishes that somehow multiply like rabbits, and you both collapse on the couch. And then you take your positions. You on one end, them on the other. Maybe there's a blanket in between, maybe even a dog, standing guard like a fluffy relationship referee. You scroll, they scroll. Netflix asks, "Are you still watching?" And you're like, "Yeah, but barely." Honestly, you're both doing anything except connecting with each other. Neither of you makes a move. No touch, no lean in, no acknowledgement that you could basically fit another person between you. And if I asked you when this all started, you probably couldn't tell me because it didn't happen overnight. It happened one tired Tuesday at a time, until one day you looked over and you realized we're sitting like strangers. Now you may be watching this and thinking, it's not that deep. We're just tired and we're just comfy. Totally, I get it. Sweatpants and silence are seductive, right? But the way you sit on the couch is telling you something. It's a reflection of what's happening in your entire relationship. Because physical distance creates emotional distance, and emotional distance creates disconnection. And that emotional distance is how relationships quietly drift apart. Hey there, I'm Ashley, the founder of Playful Remedies, and if you are ready to turn up the fun, sprinkle in more love, and add a dash of spice into your relationship, you've come to the right place. So today, I'm walking you through 5 signs the couch has become a symbol of your disconnection, and that it's a sign you've become roommates instead of partners. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to fix it, because this isn't about forcing physical touch or making things awkward. It's about understanding what the distance means and choosing to close the gap both physically and emotionally. Let's dive in. If you've sat so far apart for so long and you feel like you need a Google Maps pin to find each other, that's the first sign that your relationship could be in trouble. Remember when you first started dating and you couldn't not touch? Maybe you'd even sit so close it was physically uncomfortable, but totally in a cute way, right? There was no gap. Because back then, being close to each other felt natural. It felt good. You wanted to be near them. But now, there's a visible do not cross line down the middle of the couch. And truthfully, it doesn't even feel strange anymore. That's the danger. When the distance feels normal, when you stop noticing the physical distance, you've normalized the emotional distance. You've accepted that that's just how it is now. And once it's normal, you stop trying to change it. You stop reaching out. You stop initiating closeness. You stop making an effort to connect. Because in your mind, that is just what relationships look like. This is just what happens when you've been together for a while. But here's the truth. Physical distance isn't inevitable. It's a choice. The next time you sit down with your partner, just notice it. Notice how far apart you are. Notice who reaches out or who doesn't. And if you want to rebuild intimacy in your relationship, you have to start by noticing where the distance exists. Now, I'm not saying that you're both always creating distance on purpose. Most people aren't. But that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because when you're not aware of the pattern, you can't change it. Awareness is the first step to change. And no, this doesn't mean that you have to cuddle for 3 hours. Just notice the gap before the dog fills it again. Here's the second sign. You're both there, technically, but not present. One's on IG, the other is in a deep emotional relationship with a true crime documentary. You've replaced touch with stuff. You've replaced physical touch with distractions. When you're not physically close to your partner, you feel the absence of that connection. And that absence is uncomfortable. It creates a low-level anxiety and a sense that something is missing. So what do? You fill that void with something else. You fill it with screens, snacks, anything but each other. And you find something to occupy your mind so you don't have to feel the disconnection. Because that empty space between you, it is uncomfortable. Let me ask you, Have you ever tried sitting next to your partner without your phone? It's like, what do I do with my hands? It feels like there's nothing to do. That awkwardness, that's not boredom. That's the disconnection that you've been avoiding. And the only way through it is through it. You've forgotten how to sit in silence with each other. You've forgotten how to be physically close without needing a distraction. You've forgotten that connection does not require entertainment. And the distractions are making it worse, because every time you choose your phone over your partner, you're reinforcing the distance. You're saying this screen is more interesting than you. You're saying I'd rather scroll than connect. And your partner feels that. Even if they're doing the same thing, even if they're on their phone too, they feel the absence of your attention. So try this one night this week. Sit on the couch with no distractions. No phone, no TV, no background noise. Just sit there with your partner. Yes, it might feel strange at first. You'll want to reach for your phone like it's oxygen. But breathe through it, or find a way to laugh through it, because on the other side of this awkward moment is connection. Here's the third sign, and this one may hit hard. You don't move closer on the couch because you're afraid of what it might lead to. This is the, if I move closer, they'll think I'm starting something dilemma. You know what I mean. You scoot over 6 inches and suddenly they look at you like, oh, it's happening? And you're like, no, I just wanted to feel your arm hair, calm down. For a lot of couples, physical touch has become transactional. It's become a signal. It stops being I love you and starts being I'm initiating. If you move closer, your partner may think that you want to take it to the sheets. If you put your hand on their leg, they may think that you're initiating something. If you cuddle up next to them, they might have expectations. And that pressure kills natural affection. And because you don't want to deal with those expectations, either because you're not in the mood or because you don't want to disappoint them, you just stay on your end of the couch. You keep the distance. You avoid the touch altogether. Physical touch becomes something you only do when you want something. It stops being about connection and starts being about transaction. And when that happens, you lose physical intimacy completely. You lose the hand-holding, the cuddling, the casual touch that says I love you without needing anything in return. And because you're both so afraid of sending the wrong signal, you stop sending a signal at all. Here's another truth. Physical touch is one of the most important parts of a healthy relationship. It's what keeps you connected when life gets busy. It's what reminds you that your partners are not just roommates. It's what builds intimacy outside the bedroom so that intimacy inside the bedroom feels natural. And when you lose that, you lose a huge part of what makes your relationship feel like a relationship. You need to rebuild physical touch in your relationship. You need to create moments where touch is just about connection, not about where it might lead to after this time together on the couch. So tonight, I want you to move closer to your partner. Just sit near each other. Maybe hold a hand, maybe not. And don't let it mean anything. No agenda, no expectations, just let it be about closeness. Because the best physical intimacy comes from emotional safety, not pressure. And that safety can start right there on your couch. Here's the fourth sign, and let's be honest, this one hurts. You don't move closer, because what if they don't move closer back? What if you lean in and they stay scrolling? You reach out and they flinch or freeze. Oof, that stings, doesn't it? So you stop trying. But here's the thing. They're probably thinking the exact same thing. They're on their end of the couch having the same anxious internal monologue. I don't want to be rejected either. So guess what? You're both sitting there protecting yourselves from each other while wanting the same thing. Because it's easier to sit on your end of the couch and protect yourself from rejection than it is to risk reaching out and being ignored again. It's kind of tragically cute, honestly. But someone has to go first. And if you're watching this video, yeah, that just might be you. You don't have to go full rom-com, no dramatic lean-ins in slow motion. Just inch closer. Touch their arm, their hand, or their leg. Even if it feels weird at first, just know that awkward bravery is how your reconnection is going to begin. Please don't let the idea of moving closer feel so uncomfortable that you just don't. Don't accept the distance. Don't tell yourself it's fine. Don't convince yourself that this is just how things are now. It's not fine, and you know it's not fine. Someone has to go first. Someone has to break the pattern. Someone has to risk rejection and reach out anyway. Now I know that can feel scary. I know you're afraid they won't respond. I know you're afraid it'll be awkward. But here's what I also know. Your partner wants connection just as much as you do. They're just as afraid as you are. So today, move closer, reach out, touch them, and even if it feels awkward at first, keep doing it, because consistency breaks down walls, and someone has to be brave enough to start. Here's the final sign. You think the reason you're sitting apart is because you're emotionally disconnected. But here's the truth. You're emotionally disconnected because you're sitting apart. Most people think emotional connection has to come before the physical closeness, like, we'll cuddle again once we feel close again. But it's actually the opposite. Sitting close creates the emotional connection. Your brain literally releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, or you can call it the relationship glue. It's the same hormone that gets released when you hug someone, when you hold hands, or when you're physically close to someone you care about. And that hormone creates feelings of connection, trust, and safety. It literally makes you feel closer to your partner. So when you're touching, holding hands, leaning in, or even just sharing a blanket, your body's going, oh yeah, I remember you. You're safe. But when you sit on opposite ends of that couch, your brain thinks, well, I guess we're just roommates who share a remote. Your body isn't getting the signal that this person is safe, that this person is your partner, and that this person matters. And over time, that physical distance becomes emotional distance. That's why you don't have to feel close to get close. You can start small. One hip scoot, one shared blanket corner, one accidental knee touch. Because your body doesn't know the difference between I'm sitting next to them because I feel connected and I'm sitting next to them because I want to create a connection. Your brain releases the same hormones either way. So if you want to rebuild emotional intimacy in your relationship, start with physical closeness. Start by sitting next to your partner on the couch instead of across the room. Start by reaching for their hand when you're watching TV. And start by leaning into them instead of leaning away. You might be thinking that this is going to feel forced at first, and you're probably right. At first, it could feel awkward. At first, it could feel forced. Because you've created a pattern of distance, and breaking that pattern is uncomfortable. But pretty soon, that closeness starts to feel natural again. And here's something I want you to remember. Just because it feels awkward doesn't mean that it's wrong. If you keep showing up, if you keep choosing physical closeness even when it's been far too long, that emotional connection will return. Because your body knows what your mind has forgotten. The physical closeness creates safety. That touch creates trust. That proximity creates partnership. So stop waiting to feel connected before you sit next to your partner. Start sitting next to your partner to create that feeling of connection. Because the couch isn't just a couch. It's a comfy place where you can make a choice. And it's where you choose to sit. Says everything about where your relationship is headed. So let's recap how the 5 signs that you're sitting on opposite ends of the couch could mean that your relationship is in trouble. Sign number 1, you've normalized distance. Sign 2, you're avoiding conflict by avoiding closeness. 3, you've replaced intimacy with distraction. Number 4, You're protecting yourself from rejection. And sign number 5, you've forgotten that physical closeness creates emotional closeness. So tonight, when you sit down, don't take your usual assigned seat like it's the Southwest Airlines. Sit next to your partner. They might even look at you funny and ask, "What are you doing?" Just smile and say, "I'm choosing you over the gap." Because remember, that's what this is, a comfy choice. Choose connection over comfort. Choose courage over avoidance. Choose your partner, one couch cushion at a time. If you keep doing that, night after night, something will shift. The awkwardness will fade, the connection will start to come back, and you'll remember what it feels like to actually be close to your partner again. Because rebuilding intimacy doesn't have to take therapy or a beach vacation to rebuild it. It takes small, consistent, simple, playful moments, like where you sit at on the couch tonight. Your relationship doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs you to show up. And it starts tonight, right there, on the couch, sitting next to your partner. Alrighty, that's a wrap on this Level Up Your Relationship tip. I hope you're feeling inspired to bring that extra spark to your relationship today. And if this video made you giggle or made you think, can you say thanks by tapping that like and subscribe? And if you're feeling extra adventurous, maybe even share this with your partner or a bestie who might appreciate some fresh ideas about love. Until next time, keep exploring, keep loving, and always, always keep it playful.